I think we're actually live.
All right.
Check your phone. See if it's up. See if you see it on my channel.
Be your first viewer. Yeah, it's up.
All right.
Let's see if there's a delay.
Yeah, maybe we should get a light on your car.
Probably. Do you want to tilt it like so it's centered, but because right now it's leaning to the left. If you sit down.
Okay. It's probably just off balance.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. Nice.
Nice.
All right, let me grab that light.
Give everyone a second to get in.
Yeah. Nope.
Let's see. Yo. All right. Can everybody hear? Using a MacBook microphone, not the fanciest setup. So if you guys can hear, great. All right, cool. Just getting set up. Gonna let everyone get in. Can you guys? Yeah, you kind of see. Cole, shut up. You got it?
Yeah, I'm just putting it back on the tripod.
Yeah, it's fallen before.
When it's in before the show starts? Did it? No, did I break it? No, I didn't. It's on. I gotta watch what I say too. I might say a bad word.
Yeah, we can't get arrested. Okay. You can actually you can curse and still be monetized.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, they're
I just don't
somewhat
want to
lenient
take
on
down
it.
anything if I say something stupid.
Yeah. All right, so the light's broken.
Well,
I don't know if you guys can see in the background.
there's a silly little vehicle in the back.
Matt, would you like to introduce yourself?
All right. My name's Matt. I have been part of this journey since you bought the car.
Mm-hmm.
I drive a 1985 BMW 635 CSI. It's pretty simple. Who's here?
Next year.
Nick's here? All right, let me finish my intro.
Maybe move the camera a little.
Probably.
Can't see the chat back there too.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, you can find this out car. There we go.
Made it. Woo! Just right on the patio behind you is good.
Yeah.
You just installed Springs today. Chat is open to any questions, whatever you guys want to ask. Fire away. Feel totally free to say whatever you want. I'll answer anything I can to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, it's probably good there. What's your camera look like?
It's good.
From that, can you see
Well,
both cars?
He's a little cut off, honestly.
Yeah, but that's because of the motor, so there's nothing you can really do about that.
What'd you get? Springs on two corners? You get any of them on?
No, I said I can't. I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna do it back.
So you just put it back together?
Yeah, I just one of the people off that. I sent you a picture of stock and I got an idea. I had one
I wish we had better lighting back there.
So you guys talk about.
Not like I assumed it was the same size off the A4.
Yeah.
There's people in there.
We got a couple people, it looks like.
No, so I
Right.
assumed it was the
Yeah,
same
we got
one off the A4.
Do you agree that Honda should have offered the K20 C4 in the 11th Gen SI? No. Because, well, at
Get
least I
straight
know
to
why
the
they
point.
wouldn't. Because it would take away sales from the Type R, simply put. If there was a 2-liter turbo in the SI and it was 15 grand cheaper, people wouldn't buy the Type R.
Yeah.
So I get why they do it. And I really don't think the 1.5 on its own is that bad. A lot of people say Honda shouldn't have put the 1.5 in from factory.
That's what I needed.
That's a weird tool.
Is it like a
I've
swivel?
never seen that.
Oh.
Yeah, I had one.
Never
The
seen that.
A4 was an 18. This one was a 21. So you put
See, that's just off center. It's bothering
put
my
that
OCD.
on the top hat nut, and then you put the Allen in the middle. So a lot. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But it came apart in like no time.
All right.
You should lower the lift on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
It's like every
It's all
light goes down half an inch.
can't even see my car.
Yeah.
I didn't know when you were going to be back.
Yeah, Nick, you want to share what you drive? Who you are?
I have a 2019 S5. It's like simple bolt-ons, like downpipe tube, pipe front mount.
Right.
Yeah.
What's it make now? Like 4 something?
Yeah, it should be like low 4s for real. Hopefully. Once I put it on E, it'll be a big difference. And then hopefully this winter, big turbo. And full ethanol.
big turbo be nuts.
Yeah. Then I'll be fast.
How do you plan on reading
I'm trying
the?
to think
the
where to
chat?
I don't know if you guys saw I uploaded. Huh?
How do you plan on reading the chat?
I could probably open it on my phone.
Okay.
Read it if I had to. If anybody checked, I uploaded the video late yesterday. I wanted it to come out earlier in the morning. I had issues all day uploading it, but there is a new video out if you haven't seen it. The motor is fully assembled. That's all together. Still have to put the wiring harness on, but after that, that's it. Just drop it in, and all of the custom fabricating, cutting, modifying, all that's done. So it should just bolt in and not have any issues. I always say that, but there's always issues. But I got it out in about 4 hours, so I should be able to get it in and running in a day. So I'm pretty confident opening it. Let me check the chat from over here.
I've seen all the setbacks that you have. What would you say is the most challenging aspect of the L15 K20?
Okay.
Swap.
Was the question the most challenging?
On paper, I think the axles, just because they have to be custom. What was the most challenging?
Honestly, I think it's probably the knowledge, like just the whole basis behind the swap itself, like the hours that it took you to read through forums and realizing that no one else has done this before.
Yeah, I think the hardest part wasn't even physically doing any of it. It was, again, learning. Yeah.
Learning.
It's trial and error. So you figure something out, it works, it doesn't, and then fix that, solve the next problem. So it was really just learning the platform and figuring it out as I went. To be completely fair, when I first started this, I really didn't entirely know what I was doing. I've only been working on cars for a few years. I'd say probably a little over 3 years ago, I didn't even know how to do an oil change. And this whole swap has been a huge learning experience for me. And I'm at the point where I know the platform so well that all of it really it's a lot more simple to me. The issue with the radiator, that was a really big setback that I didn't expect. And it turned out to not be that big of a deal, but had to modify the fan, took a lot of thinking. The issue with the coolant system, where I had to reroute everything, that was...
Well, adding AC was a big...
Yeah,
the AC caused a lot of problems.
No one did it.
What I did learn, I'll talk about this a little bit, is there really is a way cheaper route to do this, and that would be going with the SI turbo. So Alex, who was the first person to do this, I haven't credited him for this because in the past I've said that he didn't run AC. He did, but what he did differently is he used an SI turbo, and SI turbo has different charge pipe routing. So you don't run into issues with the AC system. Yeah, it goes around the fender liner instead of right through the center. So I get this question all the time, and I'm sure it's going to be coming up, is how much does it cost and is it worth it? And I'll be doing that in the video because I get that question so often, and it's not easy question to answer. I forgot what I was going to say. The
Cost.
Yeah. So I've learned the cheapest way to do this, if you had an SI turbo that was big enough. I know 271 is coming out with a W3 turbo, and PRL used to make the Garrett turbo kit. That's a really good option. If you don't know already, it does bolt on to the block. So you can bolt on an SI turbo, but the difference is the charge pipe routing. And SI turbos are typically smaller, so you would need a really serious aftermarket turbo. But the cheapest way you could do this would be an SI turbo. It saves you all the issues with redoing the cooling system and the radiator. And it's way more simple. And if you already have an SI turbo, it saves you the costs right there from having to buy more parts.
Now with the SI turbo, like a hybrid setup, able to support.
It depends.
The K20 can make.
That like the turbo I had, the upgraded RV6 turbo, it probably could have made decent power, but it would have been maxed out before 400.
And you're still limited on fuel too.
Yeah, I know and that's the other thing, the fuel limitation. But 271, they make the W2 is capable of over 400 on the L15, but I don't know how that would translate on paper to the K series. It may or may not be able to hit 400 on that setup. So it's hard to say because you're gonna need a lot more air for a bigger motor. Simply put.
Matt also asked, well, I'm not sure if you answered this. Kion said you're using the SI ECU, right?
Yeah, so that actually comes up a lot. That's another big reason that this works so well, is because you can reuse the SI ECU and wiring harness. And I'll get it for demonstration.
That light in the back corner work
Where?
by the garage door. You see that?
Up there?
No, back corner.
Probably not. I've never used it, so I think it's there.
Nate said hi.
Hi, Nate. Miss you. So this is my OEM SI wiring harness, but you're going to notice it's missing a lot of plastics because you have to cut it open and in some areas re-stretch it. So I cut it apart. This is in one of my other videos, and I rewrapped it, redid the loom. So this is it. This is the whole wiring harness right here. And again, you can put it on the engine, have everything plugged in and drop it in, and then just connect the main part to the ECU and the battery, and you're good to go. The other part is you have to splice for the injectors. So these are plugs for the Accord injectors. They are different than the SI. So soldered them on, heat shrink, and it worked totally fine. So this totally plugs in with the SI ECU. And the reason it works is because the Accord and SI have almost the same exact connections. So all the plugs and everything are nearly identical. So every single plug on the SI ECU connects to that motor, every single one except the injectors. So big saving there, and that's another reason there was a lot of interest in this swap.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why you did the swap initially, is because standalone ECU it already costs more than the motor itself.
Yeah, that's the thing. People ask a lot too if you can use the Type R motor, and you can't because you can, but you have to switch to a whole different ECU like Motec, and at that point you're spending $5,000 just for the ECU. But the Accord has all the same connections, and the Type R has a bunch that are different. So the wiring harness would not work on the Accord motor, but it does, or it wouldn't work on the Type R motor, but it would work on the Accord. Anything new?
No, I mean, you said you just explained that.
Yeah.
I think what else?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple miscellaneous ones. Maybe
talk about the exhaust setup.
a couple wires had to be extended. Oh yeah, a lot of people are shocked by this, but you can. Now it's different on the sedan versus the coupe. I have a sedan, and only on the sedan, if you're using the K20C4, you can use. I just had one. You can use a Type R downpipe and front pipe, and it'll all bolt up to your SI exhaust. So that's exactly what I'm using. But if you have a coupe, then I wouldn't know this exactly. Tony has a coupe, and he did it that way, so he would know more about the exhaust fitment on that. But I know everything for me bolted up totally fine on the Accord, the SI sedan. And I have the downpipe I got was from Belade, a cheap downpipe. There was a lot of skepticism about the fitment on that, and that fit totally fine. So that's also another big saving. You don't have to do custom welding, fabricating for an exhaust.
Yeah, no, that's
I missed it somewhere, but
tuning software.
yeah, I'm using K-Tuner. As far as I know, K-Tuner is better than Hondata on the SIs, but I believe on the Type Rs, Hondata is better than K-Tuner. But you can tune everything through there. So the whole setup with tuning and all was as simple as connect the wiring harness, upload a base map on K-Tuner, and it starts right up. And even on the base map, it ran completely great. I've actually heard from Tony. He told me that if you were to just take a stock SI, take the motor out, put the Accord motor in, you could start it and it would run just because the harnesses use all the same connections. And the ECUs from factory are really smart. They're self-learning. to a large degree, so they can account for a lot of changes and variables that aren't perfect. So it really is simple in terms of tuning and wiring.
I think someone was talking about something in one of your comments, and you were confused about it. It said something about the not K tuner, but it was K.
I don't know.
We were discussing it earlier.
That's what I should have looked at comments before and answered some.
I mean,
Here, if you want to leave the live stream running up, I'm gonna comments on my phone.
no, I was gonna say, I mean,
Reacting to hate comments.
Reacting to hate
pretty
comments.
much, I mean, this is a big leap, obviously, this whole swap. Like, what's your long-term goals? Like after this is done.
Yeah, I want to say I'll be happy with 400, but you're never happy, right? In my opinion, I don't think, for me personally, I don't think it's worth it to do 500 or 600 in a front-wheel drive car, at least for my goals, just because traction becomes,
Non-existent.
yeah, and it's really, you get more turbo lag, and it's not as usable on track. But there is a lot of talk about the all-wheel drive transmission, ironically, AKD is making. That's going to be a big thing. I know Tony is planning to use an all-wheel drive setup on his Civic, and I'm really curious to see how those go. So I don't necessarily know how long I want to stick with the car,
Comments from
but
last video.
who knows? I want to enjoy it as long as I can, and if I feel like changing up, I'll change it up. But I don't know. Potentially, I mean, there's so many. The aftermarket keeps innovating, so potentially all-wheel drive and higher horsepower numbers.
On the way.
Yeah. Anything in here?
Celso, Nate, Rocco,
Got all the boys in here?
Albert.
Aw.
Would the L15 harness ECU combo work? Curious if this would be possible on non-SI.
On the non-SI, yeah, that's an interesting one. I believe the non-SI wiring harness does not work. So if you were to do it on a non-SI, I think you need the wiring harness. I'm not sure about the ECU. I know it is different though. So it's not exactly the same. You do need some SI components to do it on a non-SI. I can't really speak on it because I haven't had that experience, but it does have to be the SI wiring harness and I think ECU.
This is a good one. I guess all of us can answer it. Top 5 cars you'd like to own aside from the Civic?
Yeah. That's always a difficult question when people ask me like, "Oh, what's your favorite car?"
Oh my god.
That's the worst.
Dude,
I feel like it's the
I
worst
hate that
question
question.
because there's so many cars, right? Like, we're talking realistic. We're talking
I'd like 30 favorite cars.
Yeah.
exactly. I
I
feel like
start writing them down.
I feel like no limit budget. Everybody would say Pagani, Bugatti, Koenigsegg, all those.
It'd be like an F40 or a CGT for me.
Yeah, when
I'm
people,
old like that.
when
That's
people
why
ask me that, I
like it.
usually ask them like more specifically.
Yeah.
Like, give me a price range. Give me a type of
Yeah,
car. Or
well, I
something.
mean, Jose just said top 5 cars you'd like to own aside from the Civic.
I think realistically, in
Civic
terms
is
of
the best car
progression,
ever.
in terms of progression from the Civic, I've always had a soft spot for the RS4 and the S4s.
Oh, explain
I still want-
explain the S4 situation.
Yeah, I used to have a 2004 Audi S4. I don't know if we have any European fans in the chat. I know a lot of people on my channel are Honda fans, but
they do.
I used to have I used to have a 2004 Audi S4. It's a 4.2 V8, Nagaro blue manual. It was like the perfect spec,
car seats and everything.
and
So
it was problematic. It was leaking oil and coolant when I got it for $1,000 running and driving, and I knew worst case scenario I could part it out for more than I bought it, and the guy didn't know what he had, so that worked out great. And it fixed the oil and coolant, and then it was still having started leaking somewhere else. Ended up selling the car just to not deal with it, and then apparently the next guy that got it found out the timing was off.
Go figure.
The motor got hydro locked. But as far as I know, the guy sold to
Yeah.
the Audi. If you don't know, the Audi 4.2 timing chains are known for being a disaster. If you look up Audi 4.2 timing chain and go to images, there's like 6 timing chains. It's horrible, and they're known. The guides are known to fail.
Jose
But-
said, I thought you were a Porsche guy.
I am deep down, absolutely. If I had the money, I feel like Porsche is the ultimate driving car.
it is.
But I've always had a soft spot for that Audi because I've missed it ever since I sold it. I love V8s deep down. You just can't.
You know
beat
what
the
it
sound.
is? Because I get that feeling too with the 330. It's just not being able. You had so much potential with it, and you
Mhm.
had to give it up. You know?
Yeah,
That's exactly like my Jetta. You know,
yeah.
I
Talk
had a
about
great
what
time
you
with
used
it.
to own.
So I had a screw. I had a 2001 BMW 330 Ci.
Try
It
not
was
to cry challenge.
Yeah, it's a 5-speed convertible. It's lowered. You know, it was simple 17-year-old me mods that made the car sound good, look good,
Yeah.
and drive. It drove great. But
I hate you guys.
who said that?
Long John. No, Long John. Nate's saying RX-8. Long John is saying Catter Cummins and Wash. Yeah, keep going.
So-
Nick, you got another burrito? Yeah, I do.
He's on the boat.
He's on the boat. But anyway, so yeah, that car, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I got into an accident.
Minor oopsie.
It was it was something that I couldn't manage with at the time, so I had to let it go. I really didn't lose much on it, but you know, it's the act of not being able to finish what you started. That sucks.
So what's a thought order?
Okay,
Okay, so.
but after that, there was a 2012? I
Yeah,
forget.
I
It
think
was
so.
2012 Volkswagen Jetta GLI, another 6-speed car, 2.0 turbo. That thing was a lot of fun. It was on a stage 2 Unitronic tune, downpipe, basic bolt-ons, cold air intake. But like, I don't regret selling that as much, more or less, because I got more.
That's what you said.
I got my use out of it for sure.
That was a good car.
It wasn't like a bad ending.
It was such a great
Never
car.
really gave you any issues.
No, it really didn't.
GLI, great car.
Great car. I definitely rank that high up in
Mhm.
cars that I will own forever.
And you got it for how much?
I got it for $8,500.
Yeah.
And then I put some money into it, but I still sold it for $8,000. So like,
Not much to lose.
I really didn't lose
Hard
much
on
on it.
anything.
Yeah, no.
Put
It's
40,000 miles on it.
Dude, I put so many miles on that thing
Yeah.
within the span of like a year and a half. But you know, it was such a great car to drive. Handled super well, and you know, I let it go due to the mileage, and it was just a great experience.
Professional yappers.
Professional yappers,
He
yeah.
said that.
I learned how to tune on that car. I learned a lot of you know, basic essentials on how to
Yeah.
properly maintain a car. Too.
I think that's what your first early cars are meant for.
Yeah,
is just learning.
without a doubt. And so then I took the money from that and put a lot of it into the BMW back there. I bought that for $1,000. How long? 3 years ago now.
Mhm.
And I repainted it. We redid the interior. Did H&R springs, Billenstein shocks.
Do you have pictures on your phone?
Yeah.
Show the camera.
I have,
You can't see it. Super
No, yeah,
hot
you
now.
can't see much, but
We don't even have to talk cars, by the way. If you guys want to
no, yeah.
talk anything personal,
Even,
Jason got daughter.
Even Jose
Jason, I
said,
thought daughter, yeah.
Jose just said that we'd rather work on Hondas or Audi Volkswagen.
Honda, in my
Work on
experience,
Japanese all day.
Japanese is
Japanese
one of the
for
easiest
sure.
Well,
cars
so
to
this is a
work on.
perfect example. Before I came here, I was going to do the lowering springs on my car. I pulled out everything, got the strut out, and then I go to take off the top hat, find out I need some BS one-off socket that no one has, no one stocks. You can only get from Audi.
So difficult.
It's just like at every job you do, you find just one stubborn bolt that's just
Nice.
like
Go
stupid.
Bando.
It makes no sense.
It's so dumb. I ran into the same issue with the GLI.
Yeah,
It's
I know only Audi techs have the bolts or Audi dealerships, so you're just like it's
Yeah.
a dead stop. You can't go to Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot, any
Yeah.
tech store to get it. You just have,
And then you got four, like the 5.5 millimeter sockets and stuff.
yeah,
Whereas Honda, you could take out a motor with like 5 sockets. It's
Yeah.
it's
crazy.
literally 10 mils. 10 mils drop everything.
10, 12, 14, 17, 19, maybe a couple 18s.
Yeah,
It's so easy.
They're
even-
simple.
even like just to get the strut out, like between the knuckles, like the top hat bolts, just everything. Like some are Torx bits, some are triple squares,
Oh my god, the
some are
12
6
points.
points, some are 12 points.
Oh my
so it's
God.
like it's literally a different tool for
Yeah.
each bolt, and it just gets annoying.
Hondas are great cars to work on if you're not experienced. If you want to start working on your car and getting into it, any Japanese car is a great way to learn because they're so simple. The parts are so cheap. It's so forgiving.
And it's something I always remember too.
You can't
Like,
go wrong.
it's really simple. I mean, I was just watching it 3 years ago on my Snap, and it was us doing your lowering springs.
Yeah.
That job took God knows how long.
And that was a disaster.
That was a
Yeah.
disaster.
'Cause
You
I
had
barely
a
know
bucket
anything.
holding up your knuckle.
That really is. I learned everything I do today pretty much through YouTube and physically just working on my car. Like my first,
Yeah, 3 years ago too.
Yeah.
It was.
I used to not work on my car, and now like I remember doing my first oil change, first tire rotation, like all the basic stuff, and now here we are with
I think your
second motor
biggest,
pool.
your biggest learning lesson.
No, it isn't.
Just bought a BMW 328 from a 19-year-old African at Rutgers. Looks like he washes things for a wire brush on a drill.
Where's Woody? Is Woody in here? lot of inside jokes in the chat. Sorry.
No, but dude, remember we went to take. So he had free oil changes for how long? It was what is it, lifetime warranty you had on that?
I got free oil changes on mine. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we took it. We took it to Honda.
This story, yeah.
Yeah, we took it to Honda once. They like put a huge gash in the
There's
door.
a scratch. It polished out, but
It polished out, but
it
they
was scratched.
didn't like own up to their mistake, and it was obviously their fault. It was in what 6,000-mile car at the time.
it was
Like it was an extremely
It's one of the
clean
first oil
body.
changes.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. Like when I didn't work on my car, I just I didn't have the experience, and then
so then
that's
after
what
that-
changed. I swear,
after that
everything
situation-
rooted from that because my
Yeah.
door got scratched when they did the oil change, and I was like, I never want to let anybody work on my car, so I just started doing everything myself. And then it's like a chain reaction. The itch people call it, is then you start working on your car, and then you want to start modifying it, and then you want to keep working on it, and then the next thing you
You're
know,
trying to chase the next thing all the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's power, aesthetics.
the goal was never to get to this point. It just kind of happened.
I think a year ago, like right now, we were probably BSing the idea about doing it. You're like, oh, I'd never do it.
And
It costs so much money, takes so much time.
And then Gavin sat down and chose the red pill.
Yeah.
That evil
Yeah.
line.
The
Pill,
first
red
time
pill.
that this came up was 2 years ago, maybe? No. Yeah, a little over actually 2 years ago.
Was that? I want to say it was this time last year.
No, this time last year, I believe.
Yeah.
No, or was it a year?
It was
I
towards the
want
end of
to remember
summer.
the big turbo.
You remember like
1 year.
Wildwood? You remember when you crashed the car?
It was
in
one
the
car.
ocean?
It was a little over 1 year ago. I was getting my car dynoed. It was the 1.5 full bolt-ons, big turbo E. Went to Derek Robinson in PA, the best
Oh,
tuner.
you're talking about that. That was 2 years
Yes, you remember this.
ago. Okay.
Matt was there with me.
He's like, you're better off. Just
Yes, we were
stop
talking about the limits of the L15, and he was saying, he straight up told me, you're better off K-swapping it than building the L15. And that got me thinking, but it was never something I fully was going to commit to. And I would have never done this swap if I didn't start YouTube. I started YouTube, and I want to take a chance. I want to try to stand out. I got to do something to make an impact. And I always thought about the K-swap. It was in the back of my head, but YouTube finally made it make sense. So that was the point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to commit to it. And then I just started. I got into contact with Tony because I saw his car online, and I just started buying parts. And I said, let's do it. So, and then again, here we are.
So yeah, I believe the initial interaction you had when we dynoed it was 2.5 years ago almost at this point. It was June 2021.
No, it was 1 year ago.
June 2021 was when you
Was it?
dynoed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2 years?
I just looked it up. It was June 30th.
Oh, it was
2021.
2 years ago then we were at
But
the dyno.
then last year we were just BSing the idea about you doing it
Yeah.
and then you were just like, oh, there's no way I could. And then we started talking about the YouTube idea, starting up YouTube and documenting the whole thing. And then that's kind of where the ball started rolling.
That's the thing. There was so much speculation for so long in the Honda scene about, is it worth it? Is it possible? And the only two people who had done it at the time was Alex and Tony. And I figured, hey, you know what? There's clearly a demand for this. So someone's got to step up and document it. And again, I always thought about it. So
This is a good question. Jose just asked, how much would it cost for someone to get the swap done? I guess
again,
That's gonna be
It's so
another video
difficult.
down the line. once
I
it's
do.
done.
I have a spreadsheet. I get this literally every day. I get messages on Instagram, and I try to respond to all the messages I can. But I get at least a message every day. So I get a lot, and that's probably the question I get the most often is how much does it cost? And I have a spreadsheet, and it's safe to say it went over budget, especially there were issues that came up, and that's a part of a project. Pioneering this again, I'm kind of the first person really showing what it's like. So there were things that came up, and it went over budget. And I also learned, I talked about this a little earlier, there's 100% cheaper routes to go. The cheapest route, Alex definitely did it right because he did it and he used the SI PRL Garrett turbo kit, saved him a ton of issues with the routing, and he made his own axles. So he modified Type R axles. He used an SI hub, welded it, and it's also a custom length. So it's a ton of work and they have to be balanced. So really making axles like that is not a very good solution for 99.9% of people. But I think he did it for maybe $7,000, I want to say. And then the route I'm going, I don't want to throw a number out there yet, but I will talk about it and whether I think it's worth it or not. And a thing is, I think a lot of people, because you're gonna get the responses of just buy a Type R, right? And I think in terms of finances, what a lot of people forget is you're not just dumping the money, because everything you take out is worth something. The SI motors on their own are worth quite a bit. They go typically in the $3,000 range. Transmissions, maybe mid twos. So you're recovering majority of the cost of the swap right off the engine and transmission. Now, obviously, it's going to depend if you're doing the work, if someone else is doing the work. There's so many factors that go into it. Again, for me, it was a way to start my channel. I wanted to learn. I like doing shit hands-on. So there's a lot of factors to consider to whether it's worth it or not. You got something there?
Dr. Adam.
Oh, it's Adam's in here. Yeah, Adam. I work on his car all the time. You guys saw the video with the seats.
Also, Jose said, so I guess he's referring to the swap, as in the K20 swap. Is it better than the built L15?
Yes, I will say that.
In terms of cost?
Yes, I think that the K swap is worth it over building the L15, just because even the built motors, and Alex actually talked about this, Alex.built, how he doesn't build L15s anymore because he's tired of people being let down. The issue is the L15 is perfect around the low 300s, I'll say, because at least in my experience, I put on 40,000 miles on the big turbo, first tune at 3,000 miles. So I got a ton of use out of that setup, and I never had issues. And if you want to hit 400 on the L15, to go from low 300s to 400 is a huge jump, because you're going to need a built motor, built transmission, fuel system, a bigger turbo, and at that point you're well over 10 grand just in those parts, and it's just not worth it to me. You're still stuck with a 1.5 liter at the end of the day. It's a small motor, so I really don't think, at least for most people, obviously everybody, it might be a little different depending on your situation, but I don't think it's worth it, just because it's not a great platform for super high horsepower. It's a great track car, it's a lot of fun, but if you want to make, I'll say this, even for the K-swap, if you want to make power, just buy a 5.0 and put turbos on it, honestly. Yeah. It's so much easier to get a V8 and just boost it than to do any of this. If you're chasing power, like serious power, it's not the platform for you. But for me, I know what it is. I love track. I love the way it handles. I love just the characteristics of the car, and that's why I stick with the platform.
Do you want to explain the weaknesses behind the L15? And like the difference.
Alex actually has a video on
everything.
It got a lot of views too. It's, I think, called "Why the L15 is the Worst Motor Honda Ever Built." I think that's actually the title of his video.
That's a fair title.
And he makes a lot of good points. But the thing is, you have to consider their goals. It was an economy motor, 40 miles per gallon, amazing gas mileage. It was never intended to push insane numbers and take that level of abuse. So, I forgot the question already. You were talking about
weaknesses.
The oiling system. Some people say that is the number one biggest flaw of the L15 is the head bolts and the head gaskets, which is preventable. I would always recommend doing what I do in Adam's car if you're pushing your L15, if you're tuned, if you're on track. You can do the head bolts without taking the head off. You can take the valve cover off and change them one by one. Yeah. I did it on his car. He has no issues with his. I highly recommend that.
I mean, it isn't much of the L15, but like most of these newer 4-cylinders, the clutches are like glass.
The clutch, oh yeah, everybody knows about that.
Once you tune
the
it,
clutch is limitation.
The clutch was
that's
your first big.
The clutch can start slipping for some
trains.
people on just a stage 1 tune.
Yeah.
What else?
What else? How about the trans itself?
The fuel system is limited. The trans is a bigger problem than the engine. People always talk about the engine, but from what I've seen, there's way more transmission failures than engine failures. MA Performance has gone through, they said, more transmissions than anything else on their road to 500 horsepower because they just don't handle those high numbers. And most commonly, from what I see, is fourth gear will just shred, just strip apart. So they have problem with oil pumps or oil gears inside the engine, the oil pump gear. I've heard of those failing. That's catastrophic.
Did you have an issue with your fourth gear at all?
No, I never had transmission issues. I had some like occasional lockout issues, but for me, changing to what did I do? Oh,
Single
drilled out
mass.
the master cylinder. Yeah, took that out, drilled that out, put in the stainless steel clutch line, and it shifted great. I never had transmission issues. And again, people give the L15 a bad rep, but I never had issues other than the head gasket. That was it. And the amount of track time I got with that car was amazing.
You also did a lot to prevent
Yeah,
the
I mean,
issues.
Yeah, it's all maintenance. That's what I
You did
said.
more maintenance than
Yeah.
majority of owners.
I do my oil changes every 3,000 to 4,000.
Which
Do
is
them
the right thing
often.
to do.
Take care of your car. Put good gas in it.
Actually, with the
And it'll last. Yeah, don't do stupid stuff. Don't floor it at a low RPM. Don't lug it. And if you take care of your motor, it can last. At least in my experience. Again, I personally didn't really have issues.
Let it
And
warm up.
I love the
Put gas
L15.
in it.
I love it. Even now, a lot of people also ask, "Am I selling the parts?" Yes, the parts. Everything will be for sale once I know I'm 100% done with this. But the motor is in perfect condition. The trans, great condition. Again, never had an issue with either.
Your motor's already studded too.
Yeah, the
right?
motor is
With
studded.
the new head gasket.
Did that 20,000 miles ago, no issues with that. So, again, it's really not as bad of a platform as some people make it out to be. Again, as long as you know the limitations, if you know your power goals, you know what you're getting, and you take care of your car, it should last.
Do your research.
Jose wants to know what oil you use.
So that's an interesting one. Obviously, factory is 0-20, but depending on what you're doing, so upgrading to a bigger turbo on the L15 they require 5W30 or 530 or 030, so a thicker oil. And on the K swap, I'm going to be running 0-20, but when you're on track, it's sometimes better to use thicker oil because oil thins as it gets hot. So if you're on track for long sessions, high RPM, oil gets thinner and thinner. So you might want a thicker oil like 530. So for a track day, I would just throw in 530. In terms of the actual brand I use, I don't even know. We have a big vault, so this is the shop, and we have a big tank, and you just pull the lever and it comes out of the wall. It's magic. I don't know what brand it is. I don't know where we get it. I think it's either Elf. I know that's one brand we use. And there's another one. I don't remember exactly, but it's a good oil at least. And again, like I do my oil changes often. I put a lot of track time on it, and I never had issues with any of that oil. No excessive wear. So if you are upgrading to a bigger turbo, a lot of times we'll put thicker oil, or if you're on track in the short. But yeah, I mean, 0-20 is fine for a lot of generic applications.
That's what my car calls for stock. But I put
0-20.
530.
Yeah,
Put
it's
530
not going
in
to
your turbo
hurt
motor.
in a lot of cases to run thicker oil.
Yeah.
Put 530 in the jet.
If anything, it's a little more protection.
I think this is a good question. Besides the tune, what do you think was like the biggest, like the mod that made the biggest difference besides the tune?
Ethanol is a cheat code. If you have a
Besides like power, I guess like chassis, like what was coilover, sway bars, this
Oh, so like a non-power.
yeah,
non-tune,
So
like
driver
non-power.
focused.
you can't go wrong with the basics. Intakes on these are awesome because you get that really cool noise just from the intake. Exhaust, obviously, but I'm trying to think there's definitely, I remember there's some upgrades that I really think. The shifter,
I was just gonna
If
say
you
the
use a short
shifter,
shifter,
the short shifter.
anything you're touching every day, you're going to notice. So you get in the car, you're obviously shifting. Having a short shifter is an awesome upgrade. Acuity, it's a little pricey, $500, but you get so much adjustability, and it is a great shifter. It's so nice. And the steering wheel I got, even that, I got that used for $250, I think, or maybe in $200. That carbon fiber one, I just couldn't turn down that deal, and I love that too because it's something you see every day.
I think our favorite mod you did was going from muffler deletes to
Yeah,
actual
change to a
cashback.
full exhaust. I used to
Dude,
go
that
muffler.
thing.
Adam said wheels and tires. But
Tires, yeah,
that goes for everything.
tires
That
are
goes for
your best
everything.
bang for your buck.
Wider
Always.
rims and tires.
Going to a light wheel just changes the whole car.
In general, like just stick with the basics. People, you don't want to get
Wheels, tires,
Oh,
coilovers.
a lot of people. You don't
Springs.
want to be in as deep as I am. If you just stick with wheels, tires, suspension, and some bolt-ons,
Don't
you
slam
will
it.
have no issues. You'll be so happy.
Don't slam it on.
That's it. You won't to deal with any. You won't to deal with
Right
this.
there, perfect.
E is a great bang for your buck because it's flex fuel too. So you can put in 93 or whatever regular. Yeah, the bugs are coming out.
You want
You
this?
can bring that over.
Yeah.
Because you can run 93 and then when you want, just put some ethanol in it and you're making 30, 40 more horsepower just from changing the gas.
Jose wants to know if those are Michelin Pilot Sports. No, they're not. What are they?
I did run the Pilot Sport for us though.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying on the car now. These are what?
these are Falcon Zenus RT 660s.
Yeah.
Great tire. I ran these last summer, last track season. So I use the Eagle Sports. I'm not a fan of the Eagle Sport all seasons. I use the Pilot Sport 4S, great summer tire, and then I wanted to one up it, and I got the Falcon RT 660s. Absolute beast of a tire, so much grip, and I daily drive them in the summer at least. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're not going to get good mileage." I guess the Civics are so light, the tires don't wear that fast. So I daily drive it. I would drive it to track. I don't trailer my car. Again, there's 62,000 miles in the car, so I drive it a lot. And
2020.
yeah, and I got a whole
And it's been
summer.
down for a year.
I got a whole summer out of those tires, probably almost 15,000 miles.
Honestly, if you had your car this whole time, I feel like you would have like 80,000 miles.
Yeah, I put 12,000 on the Mazda truck
Yeah.
since the car's been down. So I drive a lot, and it's a fair option in my opinion. They are really aggressive. They're decent in the rain. A lot of people would expect them to be worse, but they're really not that bad. I love them. They're an awesome tire. The tread pattern looks sick. All right, that's it.
What's your daily?
I talked about it in the one video.
It bounces. Yeah. Remember we made that
What was
video?
the video on that one? There was another topic in that video.
You had just had your
I think-
surgery.
I
remember?
did just have my surgery. And I think I also did a video on Dave's collection in that. That was
that
one of
was-
my big videos.
That was just kind
Yeah,
of.
I've been driving a Mazda B2300, which if you don't know is a rebranded version of the Ford Ranger.
2004.
Yeah, it's
It's a beast.
it's through the shop, so it's not really my car, and I've definitely overextended my use of it because this project is going on way longer than expected with all the issues and the axles and all that. So, I mean, it's a great daily driver, but
You have the fleet.
I do need to. I feel like at this point, I need to buy a second car for myself. But if you guys want to donate, chat's open. If you want to help me recover and buy a daily driver, much appreciated.
Oh my god, Mazda Ranger.
It is Mazda Ranger. If you open the hood, it says Ford Ranger, and in the door sill, it just says Ford.
This is Ford
They should
version.
say
Same
motor
thing, some
too?
weird brand. Yeah, same motor, same transmission. It was just some brand deal between them
Just a rebrand.
where exactly rebranded it.
It's like if you go into other countries, like in Europe, like there's Fiats that are rebranded Fords.
Yeah.
It's weird.
They're all different names. And... What's going on in the chat?
Hair
Rocket-
loss. Hair
hair
loss on
loss.
regulation.
Hey, Evan, we'll talk about hair loss. I was at the doctor's 2 years ago. I swear to God, I'm losing my hair. I don't know if it's the stress of this motor, but
God, the stress is killing me.
I started losing my hair. If anybody, I already forgot the name of this medication. Hold on, I'm taking 2 medications. Rocco, what is it called? Yeah, we can talk about fitness, health, whatever. We don't have to talk about cars. I started taking finasteride. If anybody has heard of finasteride, it's for hair loss. It's a pill you take. The common side effects are ED.
Yo, look.
Gyno.
First donation. Jose just donated $10.
Dude, that's Applebee's tonight.
We're going to Applebee's! Let's go!
Gavin 223.
Oh man, one day.
That's
One
great.
day. That made my day. Thank you.
Damn.
Jose. That's awesome.
Yo, Mike did me dirty. Got me mid-bite of the burrito.
Bro, I'm yapping too.
But I'm taking finasteride. Common side effects are ED, gyno, low libido. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. If anybody has any experience, share it in chat
20 years
because I'm
old, bro.
curious. I just started taking it. I'm losing my hair. So I mean, it's in my family. It's either some people have it, some people
I mean,
don't.
don't most isn't it common with Asians though, like thinning hair?
You know what's ironic? My Chinese grandpa, 100% Chinese, has almost a full head of hair. But on my dad's side, like my dad, he's started losing hair, and his brother, so my uncle, is like back to here.
Yeah.
He's just shaved his head. It's
Wow.
receded so much.
It's like my mom's side.
Hair loss is preventative. I know majority of you are men, right? Save your hair.
Use the right conditioners, man. So you see these locks.
Well, that's the thing. Like I know I'm young,
Beautiful
but
head of hair.
hair loss is preventative. So
It is.
I wanted to get. You know what's interesting? If I were to stop any of the medications I'm taking, I would lose any of the progress because it is a treatment. It's not a cure.
Like immediately.
So yeah, if I were to stop taking whatever I'm taking, in a few months my hair would fall out. That I I would have
that
lost
grew back.
otherwise. Exactly, which is really interesting.
Wild.
So I'm on. I guess I'd have to be on medication the rest of my life.
Up top.
All right. I mean, it's just
Like I'd rather have my hair than my pee work. So
Yeah, literally.
Oh,
You know, I don't know. I gotta think about that.
No. I would definitely rather be bald than not have a working dick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, what's your
Entertaining, I
language?
guess.
You get a hair transplant, you can't get a new dick.
You can. They talked about too. You can take your blood and separate the plasma and use the plasma to.
One of
There's some
my,
crazy stuff they do now. It's
One of
awesome.
my dad's friends, actually just got home from Turkey doing a hair transplant. So he has all the holes in his head.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
it looks like
that's all
blackhead.
it
Just
is.
Yeah,
like,
it's gross.
You know the issue with hair loss too is a lot of it isn't covered by insurance because it's considered cosmetic.
oh wow.
So it's
Yeah.
like a lot of those procedures.
Is that out
can
of
be real
pocket for
pricey.
you at all, or?
The medications are, yeah, but it's pretty cheap to be honest. Finasteride is like, I think I got a 2 month supply for $10.
Oh, okay, you're
So
good.
it's-
Yeah.
I mean, so many people struggle with it. I guess they're trying to really
Yeah.
make it affordable.
RX-8 or GT3 RS?
Is that the
Honestly, have you guys seen that video on Instagram or on like TikTok?
I wish
of
Nate
the
would
guy.
get
It's an RX-8 on the dyno, and it's like flinging back like crazy. It's pushing
Yeah.
so much power. It's like all the comments like Unleash the Beast.
I wish
That-
Nate could tell
That's
stories of
probably,
his
probably
RX-8.
like Rob Don, which is like 4 rows.
Oh yeah. This is
Same.
4-rotor RX.
Yeah, we'll do a
I think they
rotor
made a
Civic.
6-rotor now.
Yeah,
Rotary
Yeah.
Civic next.
But I think
that's a nightmare.
I'd probably take that RX-8 that was flying off the dyno over a GT3. If you saw the video, I have to show you the video.
I wish Nate could talk about his over 200,000 mile
Oh,
destroyed
dude,
RX-8.
imagine we can have like you know how on
FaceTime
Instagram,
You know, I think you can. You might be able to stream.
yeah, street like
Yes.
Instagram they do
What do
that.
they call it? Cross streaming? Something
Yeah,
like
something
that,
like
right?
that.
You can join the stream.
I'm new to all of this, so
If you did it on Instagram, I could tap to join.
yeah, similar to that. Again, this is the first stream, so it's more of a test trial. We're just figuring it out. If if you guys like this and as the channel grows, it could be a feasible option to do this more in the future.
Yeah, I think
But yeah, that'd be cool to add more features like that.
This was the car.
That's fucking terrifying.
I'd probably take the GT3 though.
Like the video I saw, like the lights were flying around everywhere.
Technically character, right?
You can't beat it, bro.
Personality.
Like and off the showroom GT3 is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, and it's such a great driving
Yeah.
car. But like having something that you built yourself,
Yeah.
it's just like you could say it's yours.
That's a whole other reason for doing the swap. Again, like when I was talking about personal reasons, it's just like the pride of me knowing that I learned this and I did it myself. And also just the character. I feel like it's so cool to say that like it's swaps and like nobody would expect it. Because most SIs you see on the road are gonna be maybe bolt-ons, like 200s. Nobody would expect an SI to have 400 horsepower, which is like it's so cool to me to have that sort of sleeper aspect to it.
Yeah, non-Type R Civic in any form.
Yeah, I need license plate ideas. I'm getting a custom plate. I was thinking not CTR, so not Type R. What else? VTEC is probably taken.
You'd be surprised. Honestly,
I don't know. I
You'd be
would love to have a
surprised.
plate that says VTEC. But yeah, I feel like that's got to complete the build. Need a custom plate.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm trying to think.
Look at the
What time is it?
uh,
It's been 45 minutes. All right.
7:45.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, we have no schedule for this. If it dies down, or
We'll
if
just
we're,
keep rolling,
yeah.
you know.
I've got a lot of schoolwork to do, but
Oh yeah, me too.
yeah, I've got something to do tonight actually.
That's harder.
No, I golfed.
I was
But
getting a not a CTR plate for my FK7.
Yeah. See, so it might even be taken actually.
Nelson
I feel like we're perfect for this.
Fernandez, a WB built L15. What's that? WB built?
I don't know.
Nelson, what's WB built L15?
I'm trying to think what else we got.
Read the comments.
I'm hoping to get this motor in. If you guys, I've been trying to plug it more, but I do have an Instagram. If you don't follow it, I'm sure majority of you already do.
Yeah, he meant- what about an L15? Go L15. We spoke about this.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
Well, you could
If you go back.
It's just the cost doesn't make sense for what you're getting.
Yeah, in my opinion, like it's just not worth it to me. I think K Swap overbuilt L15, but Turbo Coyote overall.
Yeah.
There's some cool cars to meet.
No, I think the LT1 takes the.
Oh yeah, if you guys don't follow me on
What's
Instagram,
the
though,
other one?
Gavin Danitz _YT.
Sorry.
I'm planning to get this motor in the first. The first few days of the week are heavy on classes, but I want to get this motor in and driving as soon as possible. I'm so eager. Cars and Coffee is on Sunday. There's another one.
Another one? Where?
Sunday. That's the deadline. I gotta have the car at Cars and Coffee this
Oh.
Sunday.
This other guy said you've inspired me. I want to swap out my K20 C2.
Appreciate it. That's in the
Base car,
I think
right?
the base Civic. Yeah. And again, we talked about earlier in the other Civic trims, you might have you might need an SI, ECU, or wiring harness in those cases.
Honestly,
But yeah, that was my goal. I knew a lot of people had
C2,
interest.
the C2's in the 11th gens now? Or
I think that's what Nate has in the 11th gen.
So I probably assume like give it a couple years for the platform to really build up, and then you may be able to find something more.
Yeah, it is also. I think it's in the 11th and 10th gen though.
Oh, it is 10th gen.
It might be possible in the 11th gen. That's another thing to talk about. But that was my goal. I knew a lot of people had interest in it, so here I am. I wanted to prove it, and I'm going to say the hard truth of whether at the end I think it's worth it or not, and if I think it's attainable for the average person. So again, I'm saving a lot of my final thoughts because I haven't even driven. I've driven the car, but I haven't driven the car. So I can't have my final opinions until I get that done. But soon, hopefully.
Kyle said he can't wait to see it on track once you're done.
Yeah.
We need a boys track.
It's a shame it's gone on this long. Again, with all the issues and the axles, now we're at the end of the year. I started this in April. These track tires are brand new and they have maybe 5 miles on them. But I need to get to the track before it gets cold. I mean, stuff's already closing down. It's getting, at least in Jersey. I don't know where a lot of you guys are viewing from. If anybody's from far away, share it in the chat. But it starts to get cool this time of year.
Convo said Cars and Coffee location. We're in the Millstone, New Jersey, so it's like
Central Jersey. If you go to carsandcoffee.com, carsandcoffeenewjersey.com.
Long John sent you $5.
Come on.
No way.
Oh, John, you didn't have to.
Nice.
I think he owed me for that Taco Bell at Montclair. So
makes sense.
yeah.
We should make a follow-up video after this of us blowing the $15 at Applebee's.
Yeah, that might be half price wings tonight, guys.
Half price wings.
That might be my $6. That's my splurging. I get $6 wings at Applebee's.
Bro, finish the way.
Yeah. I have an assignment to do at midnight though, so I gotta get the
Yeah.
class.
I got
My dedication to this channel is unreal. You guys should have seen it. I should have recorded it. I was in class working on the motor the other day.
Wait, you didn't record that in your last
I
video?
didn't, no.
Did you? Oh man, I have
No,
pictures
I was in class, a virtual class, while doing walnut blasting.
Actually, I was doing most of the work. Thank you very
He
much.
was.
I was doing all.
He was in the background. I was
all
on
that
camera, so I
BS.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find pictures. We were. Actually, Nick was on. Nick was in class while Gavin was working.
Again, though, I talked about this in the video I just uploaded, but I am back in school, so I'm doing the YouTube school work, the gym stuff, whatever. I really have such little time, so again, the uploads might be a little more spread out. But I'm really hoping to get this swap done soon. You guys, I posted a poll maybe a few weeks ago talking about what do you guys want to see more, and a lot of people said car meets. I would love to get this to a car meet, maybe put a camera under the hood, but just get back in the scene.
Oh, dude, review videos.
Just start having
would be
fun.
nice.
Yeah. There's so many videos I want to make once this car is done.
What you said, Nick, show me a band.
Let's go band for band right now. But yeah, I really want to get out there again. But these swap videos take up a lot more time than a lot of other videos.
We got to take this thing to Mexico when it's done.
Yeah, Mexico or Michigan.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, Philly. That's what we're
Yeah,
going.
you better be watching this.
I miss.
Jose wants to know what degree are you guys working on?
In terms of school,
Yeah.
I'm a business major. See, that's an interesting story. So, like, I'm doing the YouTube thing now, and to be completely honest with all of you, I'm not banking on it. I'm enjoying it, and it's a lot of work, and I want it to work out. But I'm a business major. I'm planning to go more specifically into finance. We'll see. I'm playing it out as it goes right now. It's a lot of work. I'm doing the best I can in school and trying to really get this off the ground. But that's what I'm working on.
It takes time.
Nick changes his career every day.
No. So I was working at a dealership for a
There we
while, like a year and a half. The dealership, I made my good money in the time I was there, and then it kind of went south. I was kind of lost, but now I'm going to trade school.
Tax fraud.
I'm doing a HVAC.
Yeah.
So I was never a good student. I wasn't a bad student. I just wanted to do my work. Like I'm a good test taker. I take in knowledge well. I just never liked school.
I hate school.
I'm the total
I hate
opposite.
school. I'm in school and I hate it.
Yeah,
I've always been a hands-on person.
yeah, that's the way. Like
Um,
I liked working in the dealership. It wasn't hands on, but like it wasn't me. And for some reason now, I like sweating my ass off, doing stuff outside, just
yep.
getting told what to do, doing it. Just that I don't know.
There's something about that, honestly. I enjoy jobs like that.
The joy is like being given a task and just like working along and like just I don't know.
Having it done.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's when you're done.
Like the feeling of just like actually like oh I did that. You
completed
you
something.
finished that task.
It's like, oh, I sold a car. Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, like,
I
I
made
mean-
someone else's life miserable.
Yeah, like there was months I would sell 40 units. Like yeah, it's cool. I get a nice bonus. I make good money, but it's like oh well, whatever.
That's the thing. What you do has to be fulfilling too.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like I kind of feel like I know I love cars. I love doing this, but again, I can't necessarily bank on it. But we're all pretty young. And there's a lot of turns that our life can still take. So it's nothing set in stone right now.
Then again, it's like, if you find something you love and you make money on it, then it's never really a job.
Yeah, it's not work.
It's not work.
That's the thing.
It's not
And
work
so-
if you love it.
Just this little passive income you're making on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean,
however
YouTube,
much-
I am monetized. It's absolute pennies. I mean, it pays for my Photoshop subscription. So, at least I'm not in the negatives
But
now.
just that alone, I mean,
But it's something, and it's a good feeling. Like your first dollar on YouTube is the best feeling.
I mean, it's still cool. It's something that's like not even like a job. It's
It
just,
shows you that there's potential, and it's something I can enjoy. I think the Minecraft YouTubers got it right, though.
oh my god, yeah, dude.
You don't even have to leave the house. You just pump out
Honestly,
videos all day.
Just not even just Minecraft, just streamers in
Yeah,
general,
like-
just gamers.
look at like Kai now, like all those guys. In
Yeah.
the house,
Oh my god, they just want
they just BS all day, having a good time, and they're making money hands over fist.
Yeah,
So
we
can
gotta
do
get
that
more.
with just cars.
If we do this again, we should get more of the guys to have more stuff planned. Again, this is sort of a rough test run, so nothing really
We're
scheduled.
having a constant conversation. For
We're having,
Yeah, no, I feel like
haven't
it's been
stopped.
going good.
This has been awesome. I'm having such a great time. I mean, I brought this idea up to you probably 2
Matt
weeks
did bring
ago.
this up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're talking
claim
about
it,
too.
claim
It'd be a
it.
good way to try to connect, and also the potential with donations and all. And
I just figured it'd be something fun that we can all kind of relate to in a way and just speak our minds and connect with you guys a little bit. Obviously, this isn't my channel. I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah.
But I enjoy this a lot. I mean, just
I want to
being-
have you guys on the channel more. Cause like every video, I've
It's
a
just
lot
you
of the
being a
videos.
slave to
A
yourself.
lot of the videos on the swap they're more serious videos, but I've had videos in the past. A lot of you have watched my channel. Yeah, no, a little more laid
Oh,
back,
did I miss the goofy
a little
videos?
more fun,
Those
and
are
it's always more fun having other people on the channel and being
Yeah.
with your friends. It's just more fun.
Nelson said, "Haven't seen any K swap from the SI. Hopefully, it's the future."
Honestly, you could totally market yourself in such a great way if you sell those locking pins. If you look into the axle situation,
Yeah, I
there
will
are many
potentially be
ways.
selling some of the parts people might need.
Yeah.
So like the VTEC pins, if you want to do that,
You
I
could
might be
set
selling
up
that.
harnesses.
I might be doing merch at some point too. I might be setting up a whole shop through the channel. If you guys might be interested in that, it's not big enough to do merch yet, but long-term stuff. As far as I know, again, only Alex and Tony are the two other people to do it. I met some guy. Somebody messaged me from I think Puerto Rico or somewhere in South America that did a Type R swap in a Civic Si. So there could be other people out there that have done the swap and just kept
It's
it
just
really
not-
low
yeah,
key
not
and they're not online.
Also good.
But I know I am definitely the first person to really document this. So again, I know there's a lot of interest, and I want to be transparent about it.
Kion wants to know what happened with the axle company that we're still waiting on the axle from.
that
Is it
might
like
be
Kyle?
another.
Our friend Kyle, or-
No, Kion Scott.
Oh, Kion.
That might be another video for.
I was I really.
We've been trying to
All
hold
right,
that
I'll
off. a
talk
little
about
bit.
this. I've been really avoiding this because I have name dropped this company before. I'll talk about this. But I've been hesitant to for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to get, even though every single thing I've said is true and everything I will say is true, I have proof of everything. I don't want to get sued. I don't want to get involved in some sort of lawsuit. I don't want them to come after me, even though again, everything has been true. But I know how much this type of stuff hurts small businesses too. But at the same time, my experience with AKD has been so terrible that I can't even hold it back. It was supposed to be a 6-week build time. That's what they told me. And we're now 23, 24 weeks.
So it went from
maybe.
6 weeks to almost 6 months.
Yeah, it's been unreal. And thank God, Tony, if he didn't clutch up and send me his axles while his car's down, I would have this car would have been still sitting on the lift. I would have never had that first drive. And there were times on the build where like I was trying to I wasn't in a rush. I was like, okay, I don't have the axles. I probably could have rushed this and got it done even sooner if I knew the axles would be coming. But their customer service has been terrible every time. I've only messaged the owner, Steven, a few times, and every response I've gotten has just been really mean, really nasty, saying stop expecting personalized updates. He doesn't, I don't know.
He doesn't give you a proper answer whenever you ask a question.
I have no idea where they are, what status the build they're in, and he's just been really nasty about it, to be completely honest. And if I knew the experience would have been like this, I would have went with Drive Shaft Shop. I would have never even dealt with this whole situation. I guarantee if I went with Drive Shaft Shop, a larger, more established company, I would have had the axles by now. And it's a little surprising because AKD is a well-established company in the Honda game, and they're building the all-wheel drive transmission. But I guess it can be deceiving because, again, my experience has been horrible. But the way they present themselves online, they seem like a great company. It's a shame. In my opinion, it seems like they bit off more than they can chew. I think they took in way too many orders, being too greedy. They just wanted to keep collecting deposits, and now they have a list of orders that they can't keep up with. And I to this day, I don't know where my axles are. I don't know when they'll be coming, if they'll be coming. I thought about ordering axles from Drive Shaft Shop and selling the AKD ones if they ever came in, which I don't know. There's no deposits, or no refunds. That's another red
Do you
flag.
have a receipt by any chance?
Yeah, of course I have an email receipt, but I should have noticed earlier, red flag, no refunds on custom orders. So I don't know if I'm going to have to take this to a legal level in order to get my money, if they're ever going to build this or what. But I wish I knew sooner that this would be the situation, because again, if I knew I'd be waiting 6 months for axles, I would have never done this. And I don't even know. I can just hope the final product is good, because
oh my god, yeah,
imagine I wait this long and then they don't
axles.
fit. And they can't say it's my fault because I know the dimensions are correct. I used Tony's axles. The car drove great. And I gave them the exact same dimensions of Tony's axles. So if they don't fit, that's on them. And again, I can't say anything about the quality right now because I still haven't gotten them, but I'm just going to hope that they're good. And
if you ever get them.
It's just been a terrible experience overall. Again, I don't know where they are, and I have all the emails, but it's not a good experience. I still don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I've been thinking about it every day. Should I email them? Trying to take this to the next 2 months ago. 2 months. It's deceiving too, because every time they talk to me, they make it seem like they're close, but clearly it's so you're just waiting on this, and then months go by, and still not here. Really frustrating. It's a shitty situation because again, do I want to take this to court? Will I get my money? Will I get my axles? I don't know. That's the problem with that. But again, I can't thank Tony enough. The amount he's helped me.
Dom, sorry, off topic. My friend Dom, his girlfriend's Mazda Speed 3 clutch blew up.
Oh, I saw this actually. Throw bearing fell apart, right?
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
Wow. Is the
That's a good boyfriend. Pulled the transmission and everything for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my little rant.
I guess you'll go into it in depth again at some point.
Again, I don't know if
Once it starts
I should be reaching out to them again at this point or what. I don't know what to do. To be honest, I don't know what to do. How long can I play the waiting game, right?
I think at this point you have to bring it to a legal level.
I know.
It's literally coming about to be 6 months. Because you said what, 23 weeks?
You're probably on the 24th.
So they also had me ship them my half shaft so they could use that for dimensions.
They have your parts too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cheap part they have that.
Still, they have your money.
I sent that though. I know the exact date it arrived. I think it was April 10th, maybe. I have the date, but I know exactly when it arrived. So I do have an exact timeline of how long they've had. You would assume that the date they get my half shaft will be the date production starts. Again, they told me 6 weeks, which obviously wasn't true, and they keep pushing it back in line. So I don't know. It sucks. It really sucks. I don't know how long I can use Tony's axles. Not forever, because they are his, and he's just doing me a huge favor right now. And he's all the way in California, so it's coming at my expense too, because I paid over $100 to ship. They're 50-pound axles. I paid to ship those all the way to here. It's been screwing me in every way. It's been slowing down the build so much. The car, I get so much shit at the shop for having the car sit on the lift because you can't. I talked about this before too. You can't move a car without axles in it because it'll destroy the wheel bearings. So not having the axles just set me back in so many ways. On that topic though, aside from custom axles, I do get this question too, is you can swap over to all the Type R suspension. It does bolt up. But again, I don't know what the cost would be. It is more physical labor.
So it's like the same.
And it's a little funky too, because if you want to do coilovers, for example, you have to get 2 front coilovers. The rear Type R, the Type R coilovers might work on the rear too, but I don't know all the details. I haven't tried it. But the Type R suspension can be swapped over. And if you swap that over, you can use Type R axles, and that will prevent you from having to do custom if you want to go that route.
So it's like on the street where people do like an STI swap WRXs.
Yeah, very similar.
What's our time?
It's been just over
about
an hour.
Oh, nice.
I agree.
Yeah, that was good. An hour. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, we've been holding over 10 viewers. I'm happy with that. What do we
Yeah,
got?
that's great.
We're at 13.
13? Yeah. No, that's great. Obviously, it's not a ton in the grand scheme compared to
No,
the
but I
channel,
mean, for your first attempt at this,
yeah, to have
great.
a small group of you here and just to sit down and talk is meaningful. And I'm happy to connect with you guys.
$15.
I made $15.
Dude, $15 an hour? No
Yo,
way.
there you go.
Yo,
That's great though.
we're making minimum wage. Nice.
Really though, the small things it makes a difference. So thank you.
Let's see.
Anything else? I'm trying to think.
No.
I am close to wrapping this up though.
I mean, just
Assuming everything works out with the leaks, I'm praying the transmission leak was just the axles. Or axle seals. It should be.
Hopefully.
I'm so close to wrapping this up though, and then you guys will get my final opinions. And I think everybody wants to see the car drive. So just looking forward to next week. Next week,
bro,
Next week.
I really want to race you.
Yeah, that'd be a good race.
Going.
Tuned S5 versus SI.
Type R.
Not Type R.
That would
Yeah,
be
we'll
a
see.
perfect plate. NOTYPE.
I would love to get to the drag strip too, just out of curiosity. But Atco, New Jersey shut down.
Honestly, for Pocono Raceway, it's far, but it's worth it.
They have a drag strip.
No, but they
Roll races.
They do the roll races.
races.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
always.
Again, it's
Always
obviously it's not a drag car build, but just for fun. I think the nearest drag strip to us is 2 hours.
Is
Right?
Gavin going to Texas 2K next year?
Crazy.
Nelson said at this point, being balls deep in it, maybe Type R suspension might be a solid option, but good luck and good
Yeah.
night.
Maybe it is an option, but
At this
What's
point,
so you need new
I
like
mean, I have Tony's axles. I have a setup that works.
probably
So
like lower
I'm
uppers.
just gonna stick with it. Everything you can swap
brake
over everything.
assembly, right?
The hubs are different. Everything is different. The control arms. When I say the whole suspension, I mean everything. So again, you can do that, and then the axles will go right
I
in.
feel like your car handles good enough as
No,
It does. It does.
You have everything
The
that
Type
you
R does have an advantage though because it is double wishbone, so it is better suspension on paper.
I'm sure there's like aftermarket options for the SI.
Yeah, the SI still handles good. Honestly, I think long term, this came up way earlier. Long term with the car, I think next thing I'd want to do is probably a body kit or some wider body work. Yeah, because pushing more power and
just some
I'm
simple.
running a 255, which is really pretty much the largest you can run. And I'm running pretty aggressive camber. It's definitely maxed out. -3 degrees in the front. And the body work is the limiting factor. So I don't know. I don't think
You have
there's
such a
many
clean
real
body.
legit body kit options. The ones that are really expensive. So maybe given that I'm at a body shop and I have experience with body work, that I could probably maybe make something custom, which would be really cool.
Partnering up with some companies, finding sponsors
I know.
to.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Again, we're talking long-term goals of the channel. Try to get some sort of partnerships and sponsors.
Yeah.
Kavo wants to know what the total like drive shaft order cost.
It was $1,840 for custom axles. That's how much money I got screwed out of.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
And your half shafts.
yeah, $100.
So $2,000. There you go.
$2,000. Shipping.
Yeah, no, call $2,000. But that is the most expensive part of the build.
Other than the
It
motor,
sucks
the
kind of
motor
finding-
was
No, it's
like
more than
1500,
the motor.
that point,
The
right?
axles cost me more than the motor.
Shit.
The transmission is the single most expensive part. I got mine for I think $2,500. That's another thing. When it comes to the cost of this, my cost is going to be a little deceptive because I get new parts 30% off, and I have a lot of connections where I can get parts cheaper through the shop. So my cost honestly might not be realistic for everyone else. Most people probably aren't going to get a motor for $1,500. Yes, it was unfortunate that motor was cracked, but that was not, what's the word? Like
Malfunction?
No.
It wasn't. They didn't intentionally try to screw me out of that.
User error.
But most people will not be able to find a motor for $1,500. Really, like maybe $2,000 or low twos. You find a motor. They are cheaper than the L15s. The L15 B7, specifically SI version, does go for a little more, probably because they blow up so often. There's a little more demand for them. Whereas as of right now, there's very low demand for a 2.0 quad motors because who's really buying them? How often do people really need that? Really, only the people doing the swap. So that's why they're pretty cheap motors.
Although the 1.5s are like double the
That's
price.
what I'm saying. Yeah, the 1.5s go for a lot more.
Yeah.
Probably because it's just a more common platform. There are more people working on it. More people blow them up and need to swap them.
It's such a
It's reality.
it's like a glass motor at that point.
It is. Yeah, the rods just aren't great.
Yeah.
Simply put.
Yeah. I have a question. Drop down to 60 viewers.
So, I don't know. How long do we do this for?
Hour and 10.
Yeah.
You can wrap it up if you want.
I don't know. I'm good to keep going. If anybody else, again,
Yeah.
anything, you can just drop it in there.
I can't just shower and go to sleep.
Yeah. Got a long day tomorrow. I'm going to try to get the motor in. So, got class, but I'm going to get the wire harness on, get the motor in the car. And then, I don't know, maybe start buttoning it up, seeing how much time I have. Haven't been to the gym in too long.
Bro, I gotta wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Bright early, 4:45.
Hmm?
It's a bright early, 4:45.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I got up at 4:30 today for the car show. It sucks. I took a long nap this afternoon. It's just too early.
Okay.
Anything you can think of? Anything we haven't covered?
No, man.
I don't think we ever answered the Gates Not That Daughter question.
I've been following
Honestly.
since the swap started. Enjoy the content
Hey,
and
son.
information. The format is super easy to follow. Hope
Thank
we do
you.
more live stuff. He's out. All right. Good night.
Noted. Yeah. If
Um,
anybody has any video suggestions, I can take any sort of criticism. Like if you guys think I could do something better.
If you want to see something different, we got Germans outside, you know?
Yeah. It's a shame the lighting's not better. But maybe in a future live stream or other videos, I could incorporate these guys more and more cars.
During the winter, you can do it in the wash bay.
Yeah, we go inside the actual building,
Pull up a couple cars, yeah.
be a little better, steal some cars.
Oh, yeah. Set up a table there.
Yeah, no, we got options. The channel's picking up nicely, but it's still small. So the bigger the channel gets, the more options we have.
Mhm.
So again, just playing it out the best I can. And again, if you have any improvements you want to see, let me know. I try my best.
Yeah. There's only 3 people in here.
That's all right.
That's you.
That was a good session, I think.
Well,
I think we'll end it here as long as everybody is done with questions. And
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for the $15.
Yeah, really. Any of the donations, anybody, I hope I helped answer any questions, and this was helpful to everybody that was here. I think everybody enjoyed this, right?
Yeah, we're gonna.
I hope you guys all
I
enjoyed
think
it.
this
So
is something we can definitely
Just chill.
like
Exactly.
repeat.
pretty good setup.
Come back to this,
Mhm.
find different questions and topic starters.
A little
and
refreshment.
maybe some different guests here and there.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good time, but if you guys think
New
another time is
faces.
better,
Yeah, we'll start at 6. We get a little more lighting.
we'll
Or,
start our own podcast basically out here.
yeah, listen, we can set it like Sunday nights.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Sunday night
We'll see.
Applebee's podcast.
Again, chat, if you're not on my Instagram, I will put all the reminders and updates on there more. So check that out. Now that I think about it, I should have posted on YouTube. You can post
Oh,
actual
like,
community
yeah,
posts on YouTube. I should have posted on there that I was live
Yeah.
streaming.
Oh, we love you, man.
Note for the future.
nice.
But I think that's it for this one.
Yeah,
So
listen, I had fun. This was nice just to chat and sit and
it
talk.
was. Thank you guys for everybody that tuned in. Again, maybe in the future, and look forward to the videos coming up next week. and I'll see you there. Thank you guys.
Adios.
See you.
All right.